let me begin by asking kind of a question that is similar to what I asked the previous panel, and that is that to create this dialogue, to create this better relationship between human rights defenders and the government, so that it's more than just two groups meeting every once in a while. How best do you facilitate that? I mean, does the international community play a role in that? I mean, it seems that people are meeting, but I think there's a question if I'm characterizing what I heard right, there's a bit of skepticism that the meetings are anything more than meetings, that the government is following through with what it promises. Do you believe the political will exists in the government to follow through on the promises you made? I mean, President Uribe did issue that statement as you requested. I mean, what is your feelings on these things?
I think what's important is not only to foster the dialogue, but to ensure that the complaints being made by human rights defenders are being addressed. That you don't sit on the round table at the same time, surveillance is going on, death threats are being carried on. There's a need to actually put a stop to most of these things, so that the human rights defenders can feel that there is a commitment. It's not possible to sit on the round table and say we are talking and we are promising, but at the same time you go back the next day and carry out the same action. So really positive steps to ensure that what the human rights defenders are alleging, are complaining about, are being genuinely addressed. And issues of impunity is being addressed. Issues of death threats are being addressed. Killings are not going on. And statements are not being made. So once that is done, then the confidence has to be built slowly. It can't be built overnight.
In your September 18th statement in Bogota, you recommended the Ministry of Defense, the DAS, and the Inspector General's Office should establish a mechanism for purging all intelligence archives on human rights defenders, their families, their organizations, with the assistance of the Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights and the international community. I have a very serious concern that the damage is much more extensive. I am concerned that the dangerous prejudicial so-called intelligence gathered by the DAS has been shared with intelligence agencies worldwide, including my own country's intelligence systems. And I am concerned that this tainted intelligence has contaminated the ability of the U.S. to process visas, to clear NGO representatives through customs at airports when they visit the United States, and might even place them under surveillance when they're here. The question is, do you share these concerns? And if so, what might you recommend to other governments to cleanse their systems of this contamination? What should my government, my intelligence agencies, and my Justice Department be doing to rid itself of this tainted intelligence?
I think just as you already are aware of the situation in Colombia and what actually went on, I think then you take positive steps as a government to take Colombia as a special case. The purging has to be done, not only locally in Colombia, but it's an international issue. Because the intelligence, the surveillances were not only done on Colombians, but they were done on other international organizations, other nationals. So I think the issue should be an international issue to be considered, so that the Colombian people are not affected adversely when the situation which was pertaining in their country is well known to the various governments. I think there need to be a strategy on how this issue is going to be handled.
What positive steps has the government taken? You mentioned President Uribe issuing a strong statement emphasizing the importance of human rights defenders. What else have you seen, by way of positive actions by the government?
I think I mentioned some of them. The improvement in the protection budget, the establishment.
Now, on the protection budget, we heard from one of the panelists that they were concerned about the fact that the government's going to privatize their security, and that raised some issues.
Yes, they talked about privatization, and I said in my report that this is an issue which the civil society and government should sit down and really agree on how they want the protection measures to be carried out. It's very difficult to come from outside and prescribe for them what should be done for their protection. What is the best way? And they have to decide between themselves, on a dialogue between themselves, what institution they want to protect them, how they want it to be done. But they increased the budget. So the other one, they were prosecuting. They had started some of the cases for the congressmen, for the DAS officials, but we want to see the results. We want to see how these cases are going. They talked about the law on intelligence, and even before I left, they talked about dismantling the DAS. So I don't know whether these are not realistic on the ground, are not being done. I don't know whether DAS is going to be dismantled as they alleged they are going to do. So these are some of the things we want to see. These are the things I'm saying, when they say they are going to do this, are they doing them? And once they start doing them, are they improving on the situation of human rights defenders on the ground?